Hi, I'm Luna.
Hi, I'm Jen, and in this video, we're going to help you understand how to collaborate using Git and Github. So this is going to be a very practical workflow where we show you how to create new branches, switch between branches, merge your branch using pull requests, git merge, and git rebase, as well as how to deal with nasty merge conflicts.
If you haven't already, make sure to watch this video on the basics of Git and GitHub. This covers the basic Git workflow, which we're going to be building on in this video. And last thing, before we jump in, if you like this video, please consider subscribing. You can always change your mind later.
So first, let's talk about branching in Git. So branching is a way to create a unique set of code changes in a separate workspace in your repository. So generally, when you're working on a project with many features, you should create a branch for each contained feature. So these feature branches are usually merged into the main branch once your changes are finalized. So this makes collaboration much easier because everyone's working on their own edits in their own feature branch and only pushes changes to the main branch when they're finished. First, I'll show you guys what this looks like on GitHub. So this is what you'll see when you pull up the repository on the GitHub website. On the top left corner, you'll see a drop-down menu showing the current branch that you're currently working on. And once we have other branches that are active, you'll also be able to switch between branches using this drop-down menu. And then right next to it, you'll see the number of branches that are active in your repository. So right now, there's only one active branch, which is the main branch. This is also sometimes referred to as the master branch. So those two terms are used interchangeably. But this is going to be your default branch for this repository. And basically, anytime you have another branch, you'll be merging into the main branch.
Okay, cool. So now that we've seen what branches look like on GitHub, let's switch to looking at it in the terminal. So first, we want to use the command git branch to see what branch we're currently on. So you can see here, you'll see that we only have main, kind of like Jen mentioned, and that's highlighted in green since that's the branch we're on. If we want to create a new branch in this same repository, we can use the command git checkout -b, and then whatever your branch name is going to be. So I can just name my branch Luna, for example. And now we've created that new branch and switched to it. So if we use the command git branch again, you'll see that we have two branches this time. And it's called, our current one's called Luna, that's highlighted, and the other one is main. And Jen's doing the same thing right now with her own branch also. So now let's make a file in our branch. So if we do, touch, let's just call it luna.txt, and then maybe we can add something to it. Let's just say hi, save that. And now kind of like our previous Git workflow, we can just add that and commit it. Okay, so now that we've added and committed, we want to push, right? But if we do git push, you'll see that we get an error here that says our current branch has no upstream branch. And that just basically means Git doesn't know yet where to push kind of our changes from this local branch, like what remote branch it's pushing to. So all we need to do is do that command it gives us. So it's git push and then set the upstream. And origin basically means it's referring to the remote branch, and we say the remote of Luna. And you basically only have to do this once anytime you create a new branch. Once you do that and you do git push after that, it won't ask you for it. It's already set that upstream. So yeah, now that you've done that, we can see that if we do ls, our new file's there. If we were to switch back to main, and look at the files there, you'll see that that file's not there. So the branches, the changes on the two branches are completely separate, right? And now we'll look back at how that looks on GitHub.
So on the main branch, you'll see that it still only has what we originally had, which is just the hello.txt file. But now when you click on the drop-down button, you'll see that the Gen branch also exists and also the Luna branch. So here you can switch into the Gen branch and kind of see the specific gen.txt file that I created, as well as the Luna branch, which shows you the file that Luna created. And again, if you click on this icon, it'll tell you all the different branches that exist and also the ones that you are currently pushing towards. So this will be under your branches. Now, you'll also see that if you are working on a branch and you made recent pushes, it'll prompt you to do a pull request. So I'll hand that off to Luna to talk about how to create a pull request on GitHub.
Yeah, so now we're going to talk about what a pull request is and how you can make pull requests. and use them. So you can see here, like Jen mentioned, there's a new button that pops up that says compare and pull request. So if we click that, you can start making a pull request. And basically what a pull request is it's just a way of like letting other people know what changes you're going to be pushing to the main branch. It's really good for allowing like more discussion about these changes and just keeping a log of all the like features you're pushing and changes you're making. So you don't push them directly to main, but you go through more of a review process through making pull requests. So you can see here, this is kind of what making a general pull request looks like. It's best practice to write a really detailed title and description for the pull request to make sure to explain like what changes you've made and what you're merging into main so that other people know exactly what you're doing and they don't have to take extra time to figure out what changes you're making. So we can say here, adding a new txt file, adding a file called txt that we need in the main branch example. Try to be as detailed as possible, even though this is pretty simple pull request. And then another good thing about pull requests is you can add specific reviewers. So for example, I can add Jen here and ask her to review my pull request. So that'll actually tell her that she's requested as the code reviewer. So now I can create that pull request. So you can see here, this is once the pull request is created. You'll actually see that if you keep adding any commits to your branch, those will show up here. So it's not necessarily fixed. You can keep adding to a pull request even once you make it. And you can see a log of your commits there. An important part of this is also looking at the files changed. This is basically going to show you what the difference is between what's on main now and what changes you're pushing. Yeah, and now Jen's going to talk a little bit about what it looks like to be a code reviewer.
So once that pull request has been created, I'll see that there's a notification in the pull requests tab. So if I click onto that, I'll see the pull request that Luna just created with the title that she wrote. So if I click into it, I'll be able to add a review. So if I click on the add review button, it'll show me the files that are different and also the different commits. And I can click review changes to add a comment, approve the changes, or request that Luna makes more changes onto the branch. So for right now, let's do great file and approved the pull request. So if I click approve and submit that review, we'll see that in the timeline here, you'll see the commits that Luna made, as well as requesting a review from me, and then my comment for the review. So now that that's all finished, since this branch has no conflicts with the base branch, we can complete the pull request by doing a merge pull request. Here you can also add a more descriptive title if you want to. So we could do merging luna.txt to main branch, and then confirm that merge to finish off that pull request.
So pull requests, pretty straightforward that way. The other great thing about them is that you can actually customize what your repo looks like for doing pull requests and that kind of thing. So you can add things like branch protections. So that would mean not allowing people to push to main unless they're making a pull request, or kind of requiring a certain number of code reviewers, or even requiring automated tests to run that pull requests all have to pass in order to be able to merge them. So there are a lot of powerful tools here, and I think most large teams that use GitHub will use all these features because it helps keep your repo clean, keep a good log of like all the changes you're making, that kind of thing. So definitely check those out if you're looking to do any big projects or work with a big team on GitHub.
So pull requests are integrating your branch's changes into the main branch, but let's say that the commits in main are relevant to the feature that you're working on. To incorporate new changes in the main branch into your branch, you can use git merge or git rebase. So right now I am in my personal Gen branch, but just now we had completed that pull request in main. So I know that main has a bit more commits that my local main has. So let's go to main branch and pull those new commits. It's always good practice to pull from the remote branch as often as you can to make sure that everything's up to date. So the first option we'll be talking about is going to be rebasing. So rebasing essentially moves your entire branch to begin at the most recent version of main. This means that instead of using a merge commit, rebasing actually rewrites the project history by creating new commits for each commit in your personal branch.
The benefits of rebasing is that you have a clean linear project history. This means you're not going to see extra commits like in your commit history when you rebase, but the trade-off there is that it loses kind of traceability, so you won't be able to see exactly when you rebase. Another thing with rebasing is it can be kind of confusing or tricky to get right. I think we're doing a pretty simple example of rebasing here, but we'll probably do a more in-depth video in the future because there is a lot to go over when it comes to rebasing.
All right, so let's check out our personal branch again. And to do the rebasing command, it's going to be git rebase main. So once we do that, it says we are rewinding ahead to replay your work on top of it. This just means that we are going back so that our start of the gen branch is starting at the last commit of the main branch. So after that, it applies the one commit that I have, which is adding the gen file. So if we do ls, then you'll see that the luna.txt file now also exists in my local branch. So this means that the rebase went through correctly and everything is up to date. So the next thing we'll be looking at is merging. And with this, we will also try to show you guys how to resolve a merge conflict. So Luna is going to add a line to the hello.txt file, and I am also going to add a line to the hello.txt file. Let's do hello and Luna. So I've updated that, and I will add that and commit. So now we have a change in hello.txt, and I'm going to go back to the main to pull the change that Luna created. So Luna also updated hello.txt. So first we need to switch back into our gen branch. And once you do that, you'll see that an error pops up saying that our remote branch and the local branch have diverged. This is because when we were editing our hello.txt file before, we did not push our changes. And so the remote gen branch and the local gen branch have different commits. So this is going to be a version of merging where you use git pull to merge the remote branch into yours. So when we use git pull, a merge commit will pop up saying that's merging the remote branch into our local branch. You can add a commit message in here, or you can just leave it as is. And once you exit that, it will say that the merge was made using a recursive strategy. This just means that the remote branch and the local branch are now merged together. Let's do git push to make sure that our edits of the hello.txt file is pushed onto the remote branch. So merging creates a new merge commit that ties together the histories of the two branches using the most recent versions of each branch.
So the benefit of merging over rebasing is that the branches aren't individually changed at all, but the trade-off is that your branch's history can get really clogged. So you'll see merging adds these commit messages that are like merge this branch into this branch.
Okay, so let's try the merge command. So git merge main. So here you'll see that there is a merge conflict in the hello.txt file. So there are a couple of ways to resolve merge conflicts. The way that we'll be showing you guys is using a text editor. So here I am using Atom, and when I click into the hello.txt file, what you see highlighted in purple is our changes, which is on our branch, and then what's highlighted in blue is the changes in main. So here you get to choose basically what version you want to use. So let's say we want to use the version for main, which says hello. This should create a merge conflict. So we're going to save that, and then we're going to go back to our terminal and add that file, and then commit resolving merge conflict. So this commit essentially merges the two branches together, and so if we do git merge main again, you'll see that everything is up to date. Now we can use git push to make sure that our local branch is synced up with our remote branch. And so when we look at the hello.txt file, the version that we selected will be the version that exists now in our branch.
So most code editors will have a way to resolve merge conflicts that's pretty similar to this. I personally usually use VS Code. There's also lots of tools that We'll let you do this in the command line if you prefer. We'll make sure to put some links in the description so you can check a few different ones out.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video on Git branching. We really hoped it helped you guys. Give us a big thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to subscribe if you enjoy our content.
So we post videos every week. Make sure to comment if you have any questions at all for us, or if you have a topic you want us to cover in the future. See you guys soon.
Bye!